Chapter 7 Visual Basic 2013. About the chapter Event Driven Programming, Graphical User Interface GUI, Starting of Visual Basic, Menu Bar and Toolbar, Form Layout Window, Development of an Application. Visual Basic or VB is based on BASIC but has many more features. As the name suggests, visual means the use of graphical user interface, that is GUI, in creating applications, and BASIC means that the language is based on the programming language BASIC. Visual Basic Express 2013 is the version of Visual Basic launched by Microsoft in 2013. It is a fully object-oriented programming language implemented on the .NET framework. Similar to Visual Basic 2012, Visual Basic Express 2013 is integrated with other Microsoft programming languages, C# and C++ in the IDE known as Visual Studio 2013. Event-driven programming. The programming in Visual Basic is also known as event-driven programming. In event-driven programming, the program responds to events. An event is an action. An event is an action. In an event-driven programming language like Visual Basic, the user may click on any object randomly, so each object has to be programmed independently to be able to respond to an action or event. Graphical User Interface or GUI. In Visual Basic, programming is done using a graphical user interface. As the name suggests, GUI enables us to interact with an application through the use of icons, buttons, menus, dialog boxes, and windows. Starting off Visual Basic. To start Visual Basic 2013, follow the given steps. Start button, All Apps, Microsoft Visual Basic 2013. A window will appear on the screen. Click on File and then click on Option. A new project window will appear on the screen. The new project window provides 5 types of projects that we can create. Select the option. At the bottom of this window, you can change the default project name. Click on OK button. The IDE window in Visual Basic 2013 screen opens. Title bar. The title bar appears at the top of the VB window and displays the title of the project. By default, VB gives names such as Project 1, Project 2, etc. to your project. The title of the project contains a word design in it. This means that the application is currently in design mode. A VB application works in 3 modes. First, design mode, when the application is being created or designed. Second, run mode, when the application is being executed. Third, break or suspended mode, when the application is in a state of suspension. Menu bar and toolbar. The menu bar consists of many drop-down menus. Clicking on any option of the menu bar makes it active. The toolbar has buttons that provide shortcuts to some of the menu options. Form window. The form window is the primary work area that forms the background of the application. The user can draw objects on the form. Toolbox. The toolbox contains icons that represent commonly used controls such as label, text box, command button, etc. Property. Name. This is the name used to refer to the text box in the code. Appearance. This is 3D or flat in appearance. Max length. This limits the length of the text. Value 0 indicates unlimited length. Multi-line. This specifies whether the text box displays a single line or multiple lines. Password char. This hides the text with a single character. Usually asterisk is used. Enabled not. Value true or false determines whether the text box responds to any event or not. Locked or not. Value true or false determines whether the text box contents can be changed. Text. This is the string to be displayed in the text box. The project window. The project window displays a list of all forms that make up the application. It has 3 buttons on the top left. First, click on View Object to open a form. Second, click on View Code to open the code window. Properties window. A form can have many objects or controls on it. Every controls has some properties associated with it. A form also has its own properties. The properties window lists the properties of the selected control or for the form. If some control is not selected, the form properties will be displayed the properties window. The properties window has 2 tabs. First, the alphabetic tab lists all the properties in alphabetic order. Second, the categorized lists the properties category-wise. Form layout window. The form layout window shows the position of the form relative to the monitor screen when the program is executed. How to create an application. In VB, to develop an application, follow the steps given below. First, create a form. Second, place controls on the form. Third, set properties of the controls. Fourth, add code to the controls to handle the events. The controls in the toolbox can be called objects in VB. Every control is associated with its individual properties, methods, and events. Property. It is the named attribute of an object. For example, the text box has properties such as color, font, enabled, visible, etc. Method. It is an action that can be performed on an object. Set focus. This positions the cursor inside the text. Event. You know that VB is an event-driven programming language. A text box supports various events such as click, double-click, mouse up, etc. When an event occurs, a particular code is executed. Change. This event is triggered every time the text property changes. Development of an application. In Visual Basic, an application can be developed by following the given steps. Create a form and place the required controls in it. Set properties of added controls. Write the code for these controls to enable event handling. In Visual Basic, the controls in the toolbox can be called objects. Every control is associated with its property. It is the named attribute of an object. For example, the text box has properties such as font, color, enabled, visible, etc. Method. It is an action that can be performed on an object. Event. We know that Visual Basic is an event-driven programming language. A text box supports various events like click, double-click, mouse up, etc. Whenever an event occurs, a particular code is executed. You can add the various controls using following steps. Placing controls on the form. You can add the various controls using following steps. Click on the required control icon in the toolbox. Click on the desired location on the form and drag the mouse so that the control has the desired size. To reposition the control, hold down the left mouse button and drag the control to a new location. To resize the control, click on the control, drag one of its edges or corners. Deleting a control. To delete a control placed on the form, follow the given steps. Select the control by clicking once on the control. Press Delete key. Form object. To create a Visual Basic project, we need an interface for the user to interact. Some of the common form properties, events, and methods are name. It gives a name of the form with which it is referred to in the code. The default value is form1. Form. This property is used to set the caption of the form. Background image. This property changes the background image of the form. Font. It sets the font style, font type, and font size for the text. Forecolor. It sets the color for the text on the form. Enable. Value true makes the form respond to mouse and keyboard events. Value false enables the form from responding to any event. Black color. It sets the background color of the form. Event. Click. When the user clicks on the form, form_click event is triggered. Load. When the form is loaded, form_load event is triggered. This loads the form into the memory. Method. Print. This method prints text string on the form. Show. This makes the form visible. It is same as setting a form's visible property to true. Hide. This method makes the form invisible. Let us now learn to execute a VB project. Writing the code. If you write the code for a particular event, Visual Basic will respond to the event and will automatically execute your procedure. Event procedures are created by adding code to an event on the form. To write the code, follow the given steps. Double-click on the control. The event procedure window will appear. Each procedure begins with the words private sub and ends with end sub. Write the statements in between private sub and end sub. You can assign a value to a property of the object according to the following syntax. Object/name/property/name is equal to value. For example, if you want to change the value of a text box, then you will give the following syntax. Textbox/text is equal to double quote. This is my first program, double quote. You can change the caption of label/1 as enter the value by following syntax. Label1/text is equal to double quote, enter the value. Running the project. To run the project, follow the given steps. You can run an application by clicking on Start Debugging option of Debug menu. Save the project. To save the project, follow the given steps. Click on the File menu and then click on the Save All option. A Save Project dialog box will appear on the screen. To set the location of the project, click on the button. Clear the checkbox for Create Directory for Solution. The ID automatically creates a new folder for the solution. Checking this checkbox creates a folder within the folder. Click on the Save button. Closing the project. To close the project, follow the given steps. Click on the File menu. Click on the Close Project button. A dialog box will appear. Click on the desired option. Opening a saved project. To open an existing project, follow the given steps. Click on the File menu. Click on the Open option. An open project window will appear on the screen. Browse to find your saved file. Double-click to open it. Exiting from Visual Basic. To exit from Visual Basic, follow the given steps. Click on the menu. Click on the option. Visual Basic window will be closed. Let's recall. Visual Basic or VB is based on BASIC but has many more features. The programming in Visual Basic is also known as event-driven programming. The title bar appears at the top of the VB window and displays the title of the project. Run mode. When the application is being executed. The form window is the primary work area that forms the background of the application. The toolbox contains icons that represent commonly used controls such as label, text box, command button, etc. The project window displays a list of all forms that make up the application. Property. It is the named attribute of an object. VB is an event-driven programming language. Background image. This property changes the background image of the form.